Hey everyone, this is Michael James from webhostingcat.com. Recently I've been seeing some videos and articles advising against using WordPress. Now, those of you familiar with me won't be surprised when I say that I totally disagree with that sentiment. So, in this video I wanted to address some of the so-called issues with WordPress, give you my take, and explain why I think WordPress should be used for most types of websites. We'll also go over some head-to-head comparisons between WordPress and other platforms to see which one you should choose. Before we get started, let me get you to click that subscribe button so you can keep up to date on the other videos we post here, and as always, I greatly appreciate it. Now, let me respond to some of the concerns people may have about using WordPress. To begin with, some people might think that WordPress requires a lot of maintenance. While that may have been true years ago, there really isn't that much maintenance needed anymore. You can have automatic updates for your themes, plugins, and the WordPress software itself. And with a managed hosting plan, you can have even more tasks taken care for you. Not only is WordPress easier to manage these days, but keep in mind that when you use WordPress for your websites, you get much more flexibility and control to design and run your website the way you want to, unlike the other website builder services. Another criticism some people have about WordPress is that it doesn't perform that well. Again, I totally disagree. While WordPress may not be the fastest platform out of the box, if you choose the right web hosting, theme, and plugins, your website will run just fine. I use WordPress for all of my websites and I get great speed and performance. I actually did a video on how to speed up your WordPress sites that I'll leave a link to in the description so you can view it afterwards. One of the biggest disagreements I have is with the notion that WordPress is too difficult to use or requires too much of a learning curve for beginners. Actually, nothing could be further from the truth. WordPress is easier than ever to use these days. First of all, installation is no longer an issue. With many WordPress hosts, you can have WordPress pre-installed for you. And there are some great WordPress website builders that make creating your website even easier. Also, as I mentioned earlier, if you want an even easier WordPress experience, you can opt for a managed WordPress hosting plan. I laugh when I hear people say that there's a lack of innovation with WordPress. Unlike other website platforms like Wix, Squarespace, Shopify, etc., with WordPress, you aren't locked into the technology of a particular engineering department that might be outdated. Because WordPress is open source, the software moves at the speed of technology with constant improvements and innovation. In fact, you can create just about any type of website you need with WordPress these days. And perhaps most importantly, WordPress is by far the most popular website platform on the internet, by far. According to W3Text.com, WordPress now accounts for over 43% of all websites. Almost half of all the sites on the web are WordPress. To put that stat in even more perspective, the next highest ranked platform is Shopify, which accounts for about 4.4% of all websites. That's a huge difference. So, I don't think that it's a stretch to say that WordPress is going to be around for quite a while. So now let's see how WordPress compares specifically to some of the other website platforms out there. I've also included links in the description for more information. Let's start off with creating a website for advertising or customer acquisition. Here, we'll compare WordPress to Wix. Now, one time I would have recommended Wix if you needed just a simple online brochure type of website. However, that's no longer the case. Because there are now a number of WordPress website builders, along with the other features I mentioned now that make WordPress easier to use, I would now choose WordPress over Wix. WordPress hosting is available at all price levels and you get more value. But even more importantly, WordPress gives you so much more flexibility and control where you're not locked into Wix's ecosystem where you can't move your website if you want to. With just one WordPress hosting plan, you can create any type of site you want without having to switch to a specific plan like with Wix. And the customer support you can get with your WordPress host will be much better than what you get with Wix. Now, let's take a look at e-commerce websites. Here we're comparing WordPress to Shopify. I've also used Shopify in the past, and unlike Wix, I believe there still are some situations where Shopify may be a more appropriate choice for an online store. Shopify has done a great job in encompassing all the features you need to run an online store into one platform. Their templates look good, and you can build your site quickly. Now, when you talk about WordPress and e-commerce, we're really talking about WooCommerce. WooCommerce is a great online store platform that runs on top of WordPress, and there's the biggest advantage. With WooCommerce, you get all the benefits of the WordPress platform, plus everything you need to create any type of online shopping experience. I also like how WooCommerce gives you more flexibility when you're creating your e-commerce website. The bottom line here is, I would say if you need a quick online store solution where you're only selling a limited number of products, then I would choose Shopify. However, if you're going to have a large e-commerce site where you're selling a large number of products, then I would opt for WordPress and WooCommerce. Next, for photographers, let's compare WordPress to SmugMug. SmugMug is specifically tailored for photography websites, and in my opinion is the best option among specific photo website platforms. SmugMug not only allows you to display and share your photography work, but you can literally run your photography business with it. You can have your clients view and select their photos, as well as have them purchase directly from your website. WordPress has many plugins and themes you can use to display your photos, and is generally less expensive to use than SmugMug. Here I would make the following recommendations. If you're mainly looking to display your photography work or to advertise your photography services, then I would definitely use WordPress. On the other hand, if you're a professional photographer and are looking for a complete business solution that includes specific premium photography business features, then I would choose SmugMug. And finally, let's take a look at sales funnels comparing WordPress and ClickFunnels. While there are other sales funnel platforms, ClickFunnels is probably the most established and well-known sales funnel tool. The biggest advantage you get with ClickFunnels is that you get a complete suite of tools for every step of your sales funnel. While it's a good platform, there are two big disadvantages with ClickFunnels. First, the price tag is high, currently almost $300 a month for their premium plan. The second issue is similar to Wix and the other website builders. You're basically locked into their ecosystem without much flexibility or control. Now with WordPress, the advantages and disadvantages are exactly the opposite when it comes to sales funnels. WordPress is a much cheaper alternative, and as we've discussed, you get total ownership and control of your site. However, with WordPress you'll need to utilize a number of additional tools to create your sales funnel, and it will take more time and effort. If you have the budget and want the quicker way to build your sales funnel, then you might want to check out ClickFunnels. Personally, I would rather use WordPress. Although it may take a bit more work to create your funnel, I still prefer all the benefits you get with WordPress. Having the flexibility to create different types of websites utilizing open source technology while providing better control and ownership of your sites gives WordPress the advantage over the other website platforms.